Oh, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Flip Thought Show. It's your host with the most, King Truth, host of Bird, Benny Bo, the one with the word, the one with the flow. And we coming at you live, minute 12:48. We got some content for you, man. We're never late because we always early. Nah, I don't know. But say it ain't so, man. They try to say that Boosie done took a plea deal for a federal weapon case. Uh, so we gonna check this out. First content is brought to us by my guy, Bring the Facts. Y'all go over to check out Bring the Facts TV, man. And then we gonna go over to Brian Blake and Sadie Nash for the rest of the clips. It's gonna be a quick one, probably about 22 minutes, maybe a little less. And yeah, let's get into the content, man. But before we do, appreciate everybody liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, hitting the notification bell so I know y'all there, so I can throw it to you when it's in the air, man. And yeah, man, we gonna keep it coming, man. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys? Bring the facts, bring the facts. We back. We back with another one. We got some trending news. We got Boosie, Baton Rouge rapper Lil Boosie back in the news.
And subscribe.
Man, y'all remember when he caught that gun case in California in May 2023?
Now, what he's referring to is shout out to Bully the Three, Free Bully, Free Bully the Three from Fodies. He was with Hoodie from the Hood, Bully the Three, and a couple other people from the Fodies. And the police was pulling up on them, and they happened to be smoking, doing a video shoot. He was doing a video shoot with Bully the Three, and they put up on him, and he had an unregistered blick on him. So that's the case that they talking about. When he's saying California, he was in Southeast San Diego, the 40 side, Southeast San Diego, probably like I can't say no streets like that, but between 43rd and 47th, though, for sure, they was in the 40s. So yeah, man, that's what had happened. He was shooting the video of Bully the Three. I think Hoodie for the Hood actually did a video on it a long time ago, probably like about a year ago, but he was there as well. And if I'm not mistaken, the dude, what's his name? I think KE, who made that Whack 100 disc, he was also there too. He's from Bodie. So yeah, boom. That's what happened. They pulled up on him. He had an unregistered blick, and he got a federal gun charge for that. All right.
San Diego. Yup. Well, anyways, man, Boosie finally takes a plea deal on federal gun charges after legal roller coaster in San Diego. Yup. He's been fighting this case for about 2 to 3 years, man. Almost 3 years. Yup. And he was facing 15 years federal time, no gain time, mandatory time for weapon by convicted felon by federal weapon by convicted felon. But just like how BG caught the 15 years for his gun case, he was facing the same thing. So the smartest thing he had to do was cop out. This article comes from Hot Hip Hop News. This all started back in 2023 when San Diego cops spotted Boosie flashing a gun in his waistband during the Instagram live stream feed. Yes, the feds were watching his Instagram feed. That clip led to a traffic arrest down the street, and cops ended up finding 2 loaded handguns in his car. His bodyguard was also pulled over but didn't catch any charges. At first, the state prosecutors charged him with being a felon in possession of a firearm but those charges got later dropped in court. Then the Fed stepped back in and hit Boosie with the same gun charges, but on a federal level this time. Those were state charges before they dropped them. The things looked up for Boosie in 2023 24 when a federal judge dismissed the case, saying the law was unconstitutional for nonviolent offenders, which doesn't make any sense, citing the Supreme Court's ruling on the Ninth Circuit Court decision, but the feds weren't done. Just like Birdman, rubbing their hands together. Less than 2 weeks later, they came back swinging with a fresh indictment, stacking two charges: being a felon with a gun that crossed state lines and having a firearm while using drugs. That second one could have landed Boosie up to 10 years if convicted. So Boosie decided to tap out. You know, I don't know if I told y'all, but anyways, I had a friend, right? And he caught the same kind of charge. But anyways, when we're locked up in the state, they offered him 5 for weapon by convicted felon, and I think this was his second one. It was his either second or third, but yeah, they offered him 5 months. He signed for the 5 months. That same day, he got out of court, like I think around 1 o'clock, 1:30. He came back to the dorm, right? And the federal agents came into the dorm and took him downstairs to book in, and they photographed all his tattoos on his body because he was the pod we're in is not a gang pod. But anyways, yeah, what kind of matters. But anyways, they took him downstairs, took pictures of it with the CERT team, which is the county emergency response team. They run SWAT at the jail. Okay, they came back, they released them back into the pod. 20 minutes later, they told him to pack up. And then they came in, told him, "Don't worry about packing them. We'll pack your stuff up for you." They brought him downstairs and charged him as a gang member, and they recharged him. Yup, he got weapon by weapon convicted felon by weapon of a gang member, and he caught 15 years on those charges. Yup, he went to the feds for that one. 15 years, and he had an armed trafficking case. They charged him with armed trafficking also. At first, he was only charged with trafficking, then they upped his shit to armed trafficking. Yeah, but yeah, Boosie, if you don't know, he beat those 7 murder charges that he have in Baton Rouge with that dude that did the hits for him. I forgot his name, but the Louisiana hitter. But anyways, that dude did 7 hits for him, and allegedly he was telling on Boosie, but then he recanted his statement. So Boosie, they actually housed him in Angola State Prison because they said he was too violent to go to the Baton Rouge Parish jail to the Paris jail. So they yeah, so he's lucky. So the feds, they really want him. They really want him back. And he messed up too going on live stream because if you don't know, ever since the coronavirus, most police work is done online and it's done on YouTube. That's called open source reporting. When they go to different social media websites and they like specifically target people, especially gang members or drug dealers, but mostly gang members, and they look at those emojis, what you use and what you type and stuff like that. And it's not it's not a coincidence that Facebook is blue, right? The same as police, the color blue shield. But yeah, most police work is done online now, so you got to be very careful, especially when you're live streaming, because they'll know they can find out your location. They found out his location. So welcome to California, Boosie. But anyways, he's looking at 5 to 10 years in the federal prison. It's not going to be the max sentence because he took a plea deal. So it's going to be between 5. His lowest is 5, but his highest, because he took the plea deal, is 10. And they take if you take a plea deal with the feds, they take points off and stuff like that. But he's got priors. That's going to be his problem. He's got other gun cases and stuff. And also, one thing, let me add, he caught a weed case too. He caught a drug case too while he was on this when he was on leave for this when he was continuing this court case. And also he got arrested for aggravated assault in Georgia. So I don't see how this dude was even out, because he committed more crimes, even though he didn't plead guilty. But once you come into police contact, that violates your bond right there. And it's also odd that he had a bond in the feds, which is super weird. But hey, like, share, comment, subscribe, other YouTube stuff. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Here's how women are able to earn $1,000 in 30 days by sending messages on their phone. And some take it even more than that. I mean, this girl just earned over $1 million.
So Boosie's federal gun case is about to end one way or another. And I 100% believe exactly what this reporter put out, because we sort of put it out that way anyways. But it's something that Boosie is doing that everybody is like, wait, what? What that is? Don't worry. I'm going to let you know.
Yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. Stop.
Let's get into it. Don't worry. I'm going to let you know.
Yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. Stop.
Let's get into it. So, y'all see where it says just accepted a plea from the federal government on my gun case. I thought this case was over and I was going to get on my life, but God don't make mistakes. Did Ms. Cuniff say, Boosie lawyer Megan Blanco told me that according to the agreement, prosecutor can't ask for more than 2 years. I'm hoping for no jail time, of course, she said. So how do we break this down? Like, how is this possible? Well, the first thing is obviously going to be the plea deal, right? So Boosie accepting the plea deal in this federal gun case, basically stating that this is what we're going to agree to, which means they've been going back and forth for a while. So the prosecution is going to agree not to request more than 24 months of prison time. And basically, we're going to find out what's dropped, what's agreed to, and all of that stuff. So they're probably going to argue for time served or supervised release, even though the government already know that they're going to request like 2 years. But I'm going to be fair. The judge is not bound by the prosecutor's recommendation. Even if the prosecutor recommends 2 years, the defense asks for probation and time served. The judge can impose a harsher or lightened sentence with federal guidelines unless the plea agreement has a binding sentencing range, like Rule 11C1C, which doesn't seem like it's going to be used here. So everybody looking at Boosie like, dang, bro, why you do that? Why you do that? Why you do that? Well, shit, I mean, he was looking at a mandatory. Some of y'all try to argue the 15. I said that's what enhancements, but he was actually looking at a mandatory 5 for sure. I think anybody who was on the bandwagon of, yeah, bro, nah, no 15. All right, cool. I'll let y'all have that victory. You can have that victory, but basically there was a mandatory 5 in there if they wanted to do it. Like I said before in the first video, I think they got points knocked off. And then it's basically, and I think, and y'all keep on being mad at me, like, oh, no, bro, this might not happen. This might happen. And I'm like, man, he could get that RDAP. And some of y'all like, nah, man, that's not true. That's not true. But then when I showed y'all the indictment yesterday, what did we all see? We all seen that marijuana stick sitting out there. So I'm thinking that the lawyers basically gave the prosecution an out, or the prosecution gave Boosie's lawyers an out. And then one of the biggest things that's going on right now, bro, is Boosie is still doing shows. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all who I hit, but I definitely was looking out for him. Like, hey, bro, man, I think your folks, I think he about to turn himself in. They ain't say nothing, which they weren't supposed to say anything, because if Boosie is your people, the best thing you can always do is keep your stuff in-house. But, Seti Nash going to look out for Seti Nash interests and the interests of his people. So I'm basically like, yeah, man, what the hell? He like, blank. So that let me know something. But either way it go, man, Boosie ain't going to get no more than 2 years. And I think that's basically what's going to end up happening, is because he got caught with that weed in his mouth and weed in the ashtray and all that stuff and everything. And some of y'all will be, oh, well, weed is legal in California. Weed is legal in California. It's still not legal anywhere for you to drive high or any of that crap. And he could have 100% just played like an addict. But let's get into it.
Got some shit for you jackers, couple more for you haters, Tommy guns for you busters, Westbrook triple double, smash him.
So there's a couple of things that Boosie knows, right? He obviously still has shows that are ready to go. So it's one of a couple of things that's going to happen. Either the day on the 26th, he's going to accept the plea charges, and then they're going to let him get his affairs in order, and they'll have like a farewell freaking concert or whatever the hell, or they take him in. And he's just wishful thinking. Or he gets put on probation. Whatever is going to happen to Boosie is going to favor him more. Now, the whole entire thing about the what is it called? The doggone federal paperwork, the indictment that came out, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. And we'll kind of poke holes in a couple of things that came out, some that make sense, some that don't make sense. But as far as how this all goes, Boosie ended up winning this one. Because ultimately, him being on ankle and all that stuff and everything like that, we're going to see, because he hasn't had any violations. You didn't see him get on freaking, what is it called? Get online and be like, hey, yo, I lost my charger and all that stuff. Or do you have charger? You know, Boosie always the one that's on there talking about, yeah, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. But to Boosie's credit, from what we've seen, he's been doing right. So Boosie's going to end up doing 2 years, which I told you, I was like, bro, he's going to end up doing like 1.8 or 2.5. So I think we were good on that one. But that just kind of confirmed. And for everybody who would like to argue me down and stuff like that, you're free to do so. You're free to do so. But imagine this. Imagine if you're wrong. Imagine if you're wrong. I told you, I think those freaking feds got spanked in court and got stuff knocked down points-wise. I think Boosie's looking at 18 points, which would go with my original theory from the original video. Y'all definitely want to go check that one out. But that's what I believe happened, man. So if Boosie gets 2 years, I think we'll end up being like, oh, yeah, we caught it. But him getting probation? That's a hard one to chew. That's a very hard one to chew. Him getting probation, that's just going to be one of those things where, are you going to take like a terrible deal to get out of this situation? Like, and how long is probation going to be? 5 years, 10 years? Like, certain things that you agree to or that you have, bruh, sometimes that clock you out as well. But we're going to see, man. I have no idea. And hey, man. So listen, 2 lucky subscribers are going to walk away with this or this. I will not be putting it in the comments or anything like that. Basically, to win, subscribe, turn on the bell, comment on every video, and share every video, and you are automatically entered to win. Cost you nothing. We're not doing none of those phony raffles where you.
All right. He'll go to Brian Blake. Man.
Well, it looked like the cop calling Crip is back up to his old ways. We got Seti Nash, man. This time he going after Boosie, y'all. Seti Nash has taken to YouTube, and he is calling Boosie a snitch. Now, I got to keep it real with y'all. I notice a difference in his delivery, right? Usually Seti comes off, he seems confident, but you can tell that he realizes that he is under the microscope. And so his presentation is a little different. And what I mean by that is, instead of just presenting the paperwork to y'all like, oh, Boosie ratted, we got him, he's now trying to pretend that he don't know. But it's so crazy because all in one video, he literally tells you his motive. So we're going to break this down because we're not letting you get away, Seti. You still a rat. You still a snitch. You don't got no right to call nobody else a snitch or be going over nobody else's paperwork or none of that. But I ain't going to hold y'all. I ain't going to play no games. We ain't going to waste no time. We're going to get right to it. Now I got to give y'all a warning. This is kind of hard to watch because Seti is so cringe with the way that he does things. This whole pretending that his angle is not his angle thing. It looks so corny, but it is what it is. Watch as Seti completely flips, though. Like, his entire you can tell that he started this video off with the intention to call Boosie a snitch, but I guess he wanted people to watch the video, so he had to roll it out like he didn't know, like y'all was doing the investigation together or something. But anyway, let's go ahead and get in it.
Well, somebody, I'm not gonna say who, they watching this right now, told me, put up the facts to the people. They gonna say Boosie is a snitch. I disagree, but I want y'all to tell me what you think.
Alrighty. Jump.
From the jump, Seti is capping, man. Just keep it real and say that you wanted to put Boosie's paperwork out and look at it. You heard Boosie took a plea deal. You went and looked over his case and you wanted to put the paperwork out. Just say that, bro. Like, all of this passive aggressive stuff is designed to give you room to backtrack so you can double back and say, oh, well, no, I never said that. I wasn't saying Boosie is a snitch. And, you know, you leaving yourself room to wiggle out of this. And that's not how this goes. If you gonna scrutinize somebody's paperwork and accuse them of being a rat, man, come with it. Don't come and, oh, well, somebody told me to put the paperwork out. Nobody told you to do that, bro. You wanted to do it for content. Just keep it real. Nobody told you that. Somebody said Rollo told you that, though. Somebody said Rollo told you to do that, man. Hey, Rollo, dude ain't right either, man. I'm telling you, y'all playing crazy. Dude is not right, Rollo. Hey, look. Nah, but listen, that was so much cap. Let's keep going, though. I had to call that out right there because it's so much easier to just be real. And said he wants us, oh, well, somebody told me to do it and present the facts. And then he said, well, I disagree. He basically saying he don't think Boosie is a snitch. But watch this.
In the minutes before he entered the Mercedes and was stopped by the SDPD. Let's get in. So there you have it. The facts lay bare. Here's the thing where people are pushing back against Boosie because of what he said. Now, here's where it's bad for Boosie. We just gonna be fair, square, obvious, and honest because that's what we do around here. If that security guard did not pack that strap and Boosie just brought it, Boosie forever foul. Factuals. That right there, technically, that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, Reddit, Twitch, Rumble. That's snitching right there. Flat out. That's your gun. You set this in front of the police. You putting it on that man, knowing good and damn well you the one who bought that and nobody knew about it. You panicked because you wasn't supposed to have it. You was a goofy, you was a stupid moron and a dumb idiot. If that's what happened, those are all the things I'm saying plus more. Because at the end of the day, if Boosie decided to bring a gun to San Diego.
Now, y'all see how quick he just changed? His whole perspective just changed. He went from, well, people said present the facts. I disagree. I don't think it's snitching. To now he has presented you with the facts and said, well, if that's what happened, that's snitching. This is comedy. The rollout is comedy, bro. Just say you want to call Boosie a snitch. The only facts that you presented are the facts that are in the paperwork. So you said somebody told you to present the paperwork and people gonna call Boosie a snitch. You said based on that, what you saw, you disagree. You said, hey, somebody said show y'all this paperwork, but I disagree. Now you have shown the paperwork and said, if that's what happened, Boosie a snitch. I ain't holding no punches. That's Facebook, Instagram, on it. You a snitch. Like, see how quick that changed? That was the whole purpose of the video in the first place. Now, I didn't present y'all the facts of the case. If y'all want to go watch it, go watch it. I don't have no problem with that. What I'm showing y'all is how Seti is faking. I ain't here to break down Boosie's case for y'all. Not right now, anyway. What I'm doing is showing y'all how Seti faked his delivery. He started off saying he don't think Boosie is a snitch based on this. Then he shows y'all the paperwork and says, hey, but if that's what happened, Boosie is snitch. And this is a product of these videos. I don't mean to toot my own horn or nothing, but I got to call it like I see it. What y'all seeing, this difference in the delivery is a product of Seti being called out. He still hasn't went and got his own paperwork yet, though. That's the funny part. He still hasn't gone to get his paperwork. That's hilarious to me. You getting Boosie's, you getting everybody, Diddy, everybody paperwork. You knew Duty Low got shot while he was still on the ambulance, but you still ain't produced your paperwork yet. That is crazy to me. But yeah, let's keep going because I want y'all to see how deep Seti gets with this whole thing. And it'll further demonstrate that this was his intent all along, but it's just showing y'all how he fakes, not just faking like he a real street dude, but even in his delivery in his videos, it's all an act. It's all fake, man.
I'm not finna spare nobody on this one. The reason they got pulled over is because Boosie ass had that damn gun hanging out his backside. Yeah, that's the Crip side. Y'all remember that Snoop song? Snoop. Anyways, back to it. So, nah, bro. If that's exactly what happened, because the security guards say, "Hey, bruh, basically," and I haven't seen it, but basically, no. I did this, I did that. I took possession from my gun. You supposed to take that for yours.
This is another example of what I mean when I say he's making the case to call Boosie a snitch. Because listen to what he says. He says, if this scenario is what happened, then Boosie is a snitch. And then he presents you paperwork showing you that this is what happens. Now he's saying, well, if that security guard didn't know, then Boosie is snitch. He then goes on to say, and that security guard saying he didn't know, you take your weight, I'll take mine. He gonna go for the gun he had. And then he says, but I haven't seen it. So if you have not seen the paperwork of this security guard saying that this is his position, then how do you know that that was his position? How do you know that? How do you know that the security guard didn't try to take the weight in the states or the government, because it's the feds? How you know they didn't say, no, we actually got footage of Boosie holding this firearm. We're not letting nobody else take the weight for this. How do you know that's not what happened, bro? And another thing you have to consider is that at the time of this arrest, Boosie was probably unaware that he was on camera, on a video. So Boosie was probably thinking this was just a traffic stop. And, he like, yeah, I don't got nothing. My security guards got something. He ain't, it's not even as deep as you trying to make it sound like it was a plan. If they see me on camera with this, you got to take the weight for it. That don't even make sense, because if they got me on camera, you can't take the weight. So obviously these guys didn't know that they had been caught on camera. But as I was saying, Seti is supposed to be the paperwork man, yet he's on here telling you what the security guard said, and then he turns around and says, but I haven't seen it. How you know what he said if you ain't seen it? But let's keep going.
So unless Boosie basically came out and said to Buddy, like, hey, man, if you take this, and I'm not saying he did, let's go ahead and put this out, because I know Lane Moses is looking for content, and it seems like today is the day of all days, and I ain't mad at it. I appreciate it. Thank you for putting my name in your algorithm. Free promo. But if Boosie had basically an agreement that he's never going to be able to speak on, so you're never going to get confirmation from this, and I ain't talked to nobody in Boosie camp, so there's that, and I'm fairly certain, I don't know, I'm fairly certain me and Boosie ain't never going to speak, so I don't really care.
This is another example of what I mean when I say that these guys weaponize their platforms. Listen to this. He hasn't spoken to anybody in Boosie's camp. He hasn't seen a statement from Boosie's security, but he's trying to tell you what Boosie's security's position is. And the reason he's doing that is because he needs Boosie's security to be taking that position in order to make Boosie be a snitch. Also, he's emphasizing that he hasn't spoken to anybody in Boosie's camp and probably won't, which make it sound like, it's a little something there. And that's what these guys do. When you are an entertainer or a rapper who they can't get a response from, or in this situation, Seti may be trying to insert himself in the Boosie and Rollo beef, that's the type of stuff these bloggers do. Now you weaponizing your platform against him. Now you want him to be a snitch, and I don't talk to him, and I don't care anyway. If you don't care, why are you talking about it? If you don't care, why you talking? The last I heard, Boosie sold like 500-600 albums. So it ain't like, you know what I'm saying? You talking about a platinum selling artist that's hot right now in the game. No shade to Boosie, but I'm just keeping it real. If you don't care, why are you talking about it? Obviously, in my opinion, you weaponizing your platform against him. You taking this opportunity to promote Boosie as a snitch because you have promoted Rollo as a snitch, and then Rollo doubled back and brought you his paperwork and all that, like you ain't a snitch, which made him look even more goofy, but that's another subject. But now you trying to, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna do this for Rollo, and it's all part of that staying tied into Atlanta thing, but that is what it is too. But yeah, Seti brought the whole rollout was wild. Like, man, turn your goofy down. We know you want to call the man a snitch. You just say he a snitch. The problem is he don't want y'all in his comments saying boom, boom, boom.
But it is what it is. If Boosie pulled a BG, it's not snitching. I know what y'all gonna say. Oh no, Naj, you can't tell the police that's somebody's gun. If I paid you to take the charges, I could say whatever. That's why you're paid to take the charges. Y'all see what happened with BG? Dude started seeing all that time and was like, hold on, bro, that money ain't no good. Nah, that's a little too much. Time, that is. So if Boosie paid the security guard essentially to take the charge, he can say whatever. That's how the rules go. I don't know who wrote the rules and said, nah, bro, you can't say that his gun under no circumstance. Then why the hell am I paying you?
If you ask me, this is like a little reverse psychology thing that Seti is doing right here. He's trying to make an argument for why Boosie would be allowed to blame a weapon on somebody, while at the same time presenting you evidence that that's not the situation. So he's basically trying to prove to you that Boosie was not in that situation and he did snitch, but he's arguing for the opposite end, playing devil's advocate in his own argument just to throw people off. This is how he gets the Boosie fans to watch and the Boosie haters. You see what I'm saying? The Boosie haters want to watch because they want the information, and the Boosie fans keep watching because they waiting for him to get to the point where he clears Boosie's name. Considering that he started this video off saying that he don't think that Boosie is a snitch, yet every argument that he has presented during this video and all of the evidence that he has presented supports his argument that Boosie is a snitch.
So there's that. But let's just be fair. If that didn't happen and this scenario happened, I don't know. I'm conflicted. I'm flat out conflicted, and I'm not laughing at Boosie's situation. That's just a devilish grin I have when I get to thinking, like, if Boosie did not know whatever he knows and all that stuff, and just so happened to basically put that gun on that security guard,
and now he's conflicted. You see how that worked? He started the video off saying, I disagree, Boosie's not a snitch. And he saw this paperwork before he made the video, obviously. So what changed between the beginning of making the video and the end of making the video? If you already saw the paperwork, he went from I don't agree, Boosie's not a rat. That was just to bait the people in and get their interest sparked to make them want to watch the video. Then he presented you all of the evidence that would support Boosie being called a snitch, because that's his purpose of this video, is to put this information out and say, hey, y'all, look, Boosie snitching on somebody. But he don't want to do it like that because he don't want to get bombarded with comments about boom, boom, boom. So he comes with this whole little spiel, and then he ends it with, I don't know, I'm conflicted. So now you done converted yourself. You went from, I don't think he a rat, to now he's a snitch, I'm conflicted.
I'm almost like an old man at heart. I don't know why I've been like that since I was young. Even with producing, I still like making beats the old way. But I love when something new or some new piece of technology, some new equipment come out. Cause it's like, dang, I can use that to add to what I do, and it'll make me.
But yeah, man, that's the game that they playing on YouTube these days. So, you know, I just thought that this would be some good content to bring to y'all, break this down, let y'all know that the cop calling Crip is still at it. He not letting up. Apparently, he just gonna switch it up. He's switching up the way he bringing it to y'all, but he's still trying to call people snitches. This hilarious though. I don't know if Boosie gonna respond to this. He might be like, "Man, I'm on my way to jail," and that's the crazy thing. Like, bro, this man on his way to prison. You could possibly get him hurt putting this. You know, I'm not saying that's your intent, but you know, putting this type of information out here on these people is crazy when they on their way to prison. You know, and man, what's the purpose other than trying to get some clout, trying to get some views, and maybe, you know, you trying to throw a little smut because you kicking it with Rallo. And that's another video. I got another one coming on because it seemed like Seti got some issues going on, but we're going to address that in another video. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all of that YouTube stuff. I definitely want to know what y'all think about this one. If y'all want to see the Boosie paperwork and all that, go to Seti video. I ain't got no problem telling y'all to go watch that video. And no problem at all. But, you know, this video wasn't about Boosie paperwork. This video was about Seti faking his presentation. But, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It's your boy, Byron Blake. I'm out. Oh, my bad. Before we get up out of here, I almost forgot about this, but I be forgetting that there's going to be some people who haven't watched me before that might catch this and not familiar with this situation. So let me break this down to y'all. The reason why all of this is so important, because Sadie Nash, the cop calling Crip, is the person who called the police on his own blood brother. So Boosie, when you see this, this is what you got going on. You got a guy that called the police on his own blood brother and got his brother and two other people arrested, rode around in a police car looking for the suspect vehicle while they had the helicopters out and everything. This is all documented. This is the type of guy that's on the internet calling you a snitch, Boosie. Think about this. This is the new wave. This is what's going on. Now, y'all want to go see that paperwork? Y'all go over there and watch Seti video. He got the paperwork. I ain't hating. Look, go watch it. That'll make this make even more sense. But yeah, it's your boy Byron Blake. I'm out of here. Seti Nash, the cop calling Crip. This dude never ceases to amaze me. And the funny part about it is he tries to act so gangster while in the process of doing the most police style stuff. This is crazy, but we got one for y'all today. Seti Nash, the cop calling Crip, is back. This time we talking about Duty Low. After listening to this conversation and just going through my mental Rolodex, I'm starting to believe that Seti Nash is one of the open source reporters responsible for giving this information on Lil Durk. This video is going to give y'all a glimpse into why I think that. But as time goes,
All right. All right, man. So yeah, that was basically Seti Nash's take on the whole Boosie thing. Like I said, man, this is all stemmed from him doing a video with Bully the 3 in the 40s in the Biddy, man, in the Southeast, man, in the 40s. And when they put up on him, he had a unregistered blick and some dro on him. I don't know how much it was, but a good amount in the car. So yeah, man. That was that. Do I think Boosie's a snitch? I think that Seti Nash is trying to pay him, put that jacket on him, but nah, I don't. I'm not. Nah. Nah, ain't enough. There's not enough evidence yet to say that. So yeah, But yeah, man, that was that. Appreciate everybody liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, tuning in to another episode of the Flip Thought Show, man. And we're gonna go right to the next one, man. Peace, we gone. Follow me on Kick, follow me on Twitch.